through surviving the aftermath. I'll give you a couple of cheeky tips, cheeky hints, and show you generally how you get your burst start in this game. So if you are starting out, I very much recommend choosing the easy option, much in life. So we're going to choose a 1, cities demolished, very fertile, worst is past, time to rebuild. So not as much contamination. Contamination will hamper you, especially in the early game. Later on it becomes less of an issue. And we want some starting resources. It gives us the best chance to actually continue on. You can run into a trap with this game where you do run out of resources and you can't build the buildings that you need to gather more resources, so we'll just grab that. Now, ideology is important. You will research different paths, so these all have different events as far as I can tell, and what you can research. So as far as I know, you can research everything, but you might be able to research a bit more of a specialist, so it will give you a bit of a bonus to certain things. So we are actually going to choose hardy survivalist, and again, gatekeeper, going to make it easy. So a lot of times you'll get maybe people showing up at the gate. If you got a low, if you have gatekeeper in a lower setting, he will give you things that you need a bit more, as will the trader. It just magically gives you it. Now you're going to select your specialists. Now you can see here you've got speed. That's how far they can go on the map. Attack, how much damage they do. Research, how much research they will pick up from the overworld when you go and do it. So if you send him to pick up a research, he'll grab 150 a day until it's depleted. Scavenge, how much they can pick up again, and recovery is how much they'll actually heal. Doesn't really matter as much as you think it would for that. So what we do is we want a couple of fighters. So fighter, attack, 25. We'll just grab him. It's pretty good. We want Kate, she's a scientist, 300 a day, so that's definitely a lot better. And we probably want a scavenger as well. So scavenger, good at picking things up. Scientist, good at collecting research. Fighter, good at fighting people. Fairly straightforward with that one. Visual, now this is just a flag for your encampment. That's cool. I think that we'll maybe go for something like a bear. Bears are nice. And then you can choose a motto and a colony name. So that's fine. We can just choose not choosing rock bottom. That's a bit of an idea. So it's a couple of random ones. Alexandria is always quite nice. Adapt and overcome. And you can see the high new tutorial messages. And we're going to go easy mode. So let's start off. Now, getting a good start in this game is very important. As I say, you can work yourself into a corner in which you can't get out of. That's the one criticism of this game is if you don't know what you're doing, it can be quite a difficult learning curve. Tutorial goes a little way, but hopefully this video will give you a nice couple of things to help you out with that. Don't recommend playing the harder difficulties. It doesn't add a lot to experience, it just makes it a bit more oppressive. Once you get more experience, you can do what you wish, but I like the easy way. Okay, so we've got 3 specialists here, you can tell, clicking them, that is a role up the top, and a little blurb about them. So we're going to select them, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to go here, so you build menu and you want to build a campsite. Now, placement for this campsite is important because that's your storage as well. So we want to keep away from that. That's contamination. That will seep in and reduce effectiveness and eventually mean that the buildings won't work until you decontaminate them. So we're going to move them a bit further away. You don't want to go in against trees. Trees are a valuable resource and they make oxygen, so that's nice. So right there, collect your specialists, and that's already pre-built. That's cool. That's all our bits and pieces, as you can see. And what we can do is we can actually shoot the flare, but we don't really want to do that at this point in time. What we're going to do is make sure that when they do arrive, they've got everything that they can deal with. So first things first, what we want to do is we want to have a nice food storage, and we want to keep them fairly close together. Make that food storage, and we'll have a stockpile there as well. And what we'll do is we'll just grab our specialists, tell them to build that, so just right click and drag, send them over. They'll start collecting resources and move them over to the building site, and then they'll start making it. So that's the first couple of things that we want. There's certain things you can't build until you invite lots of colonists in. If you don't invite them, then you can't move forward with the game. But you want to make sure they're up and running, so that's cool. And then next thing we do, we've got a lot of food, but we're actually producing no water. Now, it looks as if we've got storage water about 300. Previously, in other patches, there was not any stored water, so I invited lots of colonists in, and they all died immediately through lack of water. Now you can see here on efficiency, this is a water well. This is what you want to get for all your water needs. You want to try and get the efficiency 100. And then what we'll do is we'll grab him and tell him to go build that. We want a couple of water wells, and you can't place them together because they will reduce the efficiency. Grab our guys there, send them over there, and they'll start working on that. Down the bottom you can see you can speed up the time. We're just going to speed up a little bit just for ease of moving forward. And he's working away, and they're both working away, so that's cool. Next thing we want to do is we want to have clean water storage. Now you can see at the top we have 0 water, and that we're not producing any and we're not using any. Now the specialists don't use any water, but your colonists will, and they do need that to survive. So this number doesn't really matter as long as it's positive. That's important to remember. What does matter is your storage of the water, and we want to make a couple of storage for the clean water. Now this is water that the colonists will use. Make a couple of them, and then they can start working on filling that up. So what that will do is that will make down there, you can see storage for the colonists. It's the first one, and they'll start drinking that. There's a couple of catastrophes that will start, so like a heat wave, in which case they'll use more water than usual. As long as we've got enough storage and we're in the positive, should be okay. So they're finished with that. We'll send them over there. Start on that. And Kate's working away on the water well. As you can see, now they're trying to push us to invite the colonists, but actually we're not going to do that yet. We've got a little bit of work to do, and we want to move on that as soon as we can. So that's cool. So slow it down again. What we're going to do is pause it. Now they'll come and it'll start working. See, we get the resources at the top. We get planks, concrete and plastic, metal, fibre, and a couple of wee specialist resources, fun box components. These 3 are your main ones at the start of the game, and then metal. What we then do is we want to get some production buildings on the go. In fact, no, sorry. Yeah. We'll get a trapper. Trapper will produce food for the colonists. We've got a bit of starting food, so that's quite nice. So we'll produce a trapper. Trappers want to go in the woods, and again you've got the efficiency bar there. Don't worry too much about the placement. Once you place these buildings, you can choose a work area, in which case people will work within that area. So we'll start producing that there. Get our guys there. Tell them to start working on it. Get that trapper up and running. It's not going to produce us anything just now, but we do need that for the future. Other things we want to get is we want to get some specialist production. So as I mentioned earlier, that's your kind of main 3, at least in the start of the game. We want to actually produce, first thing is get a recycler up and running. So recyclers will give you plastic, and we'll maybe put him down there so he's nice nice and adjacent to that plastic there. Now, the thing that's important about getting your plastic recycler in is that your specialists cannot gather plastic. So these specialists, and the most thing what you want them to do at the start of the game, can collect resources so they can break up planks, they can get berries, and a concrete. That's fine. They'll do that. But they can't get plastic. If you run out of plastic... Oh, they've changed it. It used to be that you needed plastic to make the recycler, which was a bit of a disaster. And you also need wood. So we'll just put a scrapper. Get him down there. That's your main thing. You want to get that recycler on the go. Get it as soon as possible. And then you can make your production buildings. So you get 3 production buildings. Forest or replant trees, you don't want to worry about that just now. And you want to get a lumber yard as well. Put that down. Get a specialist to go and make that. And you two, you go do something. Oh. He's apparently got damaged. Somehow, which is fun. I've never seen that before. And I'll get him to repair that. Now, you might be quite keen on getting your settlers in quick, but actually you've got all this time to do it. Oh, and he needs wood, so that's absolutely fine. As you say, we've got to this trap, we don't have any wood, but that's fine because what we've done is we produced that quickly, so you can tell them to go gather. So some planks there, we'll just tell them to go gather the planks. Now you probably want to select all your specialists and tell them to gather one thing. You can split them up, but I find it's better because you get rid of one at a time, and especially just now where we need planks. It's very useful. The other thing that's quite useful is we need berries. Always need berries. So we'll get a little bit of a stockpile going. You want to get as much as you can before they actually arrive. Food does not expire. They can be stolen, but it's very rare, especially in the lower difficulties. So you want to try and get as much as you can before they arrive so you can react to things as they occur. And that's that depleted, so that's fine. And there's a nice little concrete building as well. It'll just produce that. It's a little bit tedious at the start. You want to get your colonists, you want to get going, but actually you want to stockpile as much of this stuff as you can. There's certain disasters that will really impact you later on. You want to have a stockpile of food because sometimes you want to maybe change to having large farms rather than small ones, which again, I mean, that you're not producing the small farms, which are a lot quicker. So that's cool. That's him sorted with that one. And let's tell them to go grab some concrete. Where is the metal scrap? Oh, there it is there. So as I said earlier, click on this, move work area to a deposit. You can see it highlighted in green, and he'll start going away with that. They're working on this concrete just now. Another thing we'll want to do next is we want to try and get as much stuff as we can before we actually start moving on that. So you can see they're moving everything to the campsite. We also do have a stockpile and the food storage, which actually is not completed, which is a bit of an oversight on my part. And that's that concrete depleted. That's that done. And we'll send them. You want to use the specialist, especially at the start of the game. Get as much as possible. Food is key at the start. Food is very much key in the game at all times. but if you want to try and get stockpile as quickly as possible, so you do have a little bit of a buffer. Say, as they're depleted, keep them going. So, at this point you want to invite colonists. So you'll start getting colonists in. Your specialists at the moment are still collecting some things. Keep them on that. Now, we've got a load of new colonists. What we want to do is we want to build the gate. Straight on to the gate. Now, the gate is very useful because it will allow us to send our specialists, so that's these three guys up here, into the overworld to collect some more things, and I'll show you that as soon as that's sorted. And they're working on that just now. We should be okay to try and collect everything. We've got our guys there working away, plastic trash, metal scrap guy, and we've got a nice little lumber yard there, so they'll be collecting all the bits and bobs. Now, slow it down a little bit again. As you can see, that's that berry bush depleted, but what we're going to do is we're just going to continue telling them to go and collect things. As I say, they can't collect metal either, but they can get concrete, and they can get wood. Eventually, we'll show you what they'll do with that. So, they're constructing that just now. Important up here are colonists, so that's the total number of colonists on the right hand side, and then on the left we've got an important thing, it's called carriers. So what carriers will do is, if you have a construction project on the go, they will move the resources over to there, and they'll start constructing it. But what they'll also do is, if somebody needs a resource, or if you get maybe a building that needs a resource to produce something, they'll move things over for them so that they can actually do it a lot more efficiently. So you want to probably try and keep maybe about 5 carriers whenever possible. It's not as easy at the start of the game, so we'll just speed that up a little bit. We've got a little bit of food here. We did oops, there we go. So that's us rebuilt the gate, and now we can send specialists onto their own little thing. Now the gate, it's got 2 positions there. Okay, we'll slow it down a little bit. So 2 positions on the gate, and what they'll do is when raiders come, they'll fire at the radars, and then they can stop them. So we've got a first group of survivors. We click on that. This is the number of people they're bringing in: adults, elders, which is like older people, and children. We also got up here, we've got a new specialist who's going to join us as well. That's all his stats there. As I say, speed, I'll show you in a minute. So they're also bringing a couple of supplies with them. That's good. You really want to try and accept them if you can. It does make your colony a bit better. Now, lumberyard is missing insufficient construction materials for the lumberyard. That should be fine. Okay. So we do have a number of colonists who are homeless. Now this is not really good for us because they'll get sick, they'll be unhappy, and they're a lot more vulnerable. What we want to do is we want to go into a build menu, and we want to build emergency shelters. Tents are good, emergency shelters are better. You can see their colonist slots is 6 compared to only 2. It's a massive difference there. So we've got 6 there. As we can see up there, we've got 18 colonists. So 6, 12, 18. That's 3 emergency shelters that we need. Get them built. And that's off center. That's going to annoy me. Cancel construction. Speed up a little bit. And we'll get that on the go, so that'll make them a little bit happier. If we scroll over to food, we've got production of 3, consumption of 14. Obviously that's not really going to do for us long term. The water is absolutely fine. Say we've got a positive 2. That will do us just now. We've got these water storage, so we've actually got a buffer about 1,500. Everyone's working away. What we can do now is, what I'd recommend is we click on one of our specialists and send to the world map. We're going to send everyone apart from one of them, and then we're going to have him collect some berries. So berries are quite nice. And they'll go away to the map. The other thing is very useful, especially early on. This costs nothing and is one of the greatest tools in your arsenal. Dirt roads. Nothing to construct other than the time to construct them. That'll mean that your colonists move a lot quicker when they're actually running about. So what we're going to do is we have a nice little road here. And what we're going to do is just link some of this together. Now, this becomes important for 2 reasons. So your carriers will move between different construction sites and things, giving material, and your workers will move between wherever they're working and their main building, and then the carriers will move it to the stockpile. So we'll maybe make a little bit of a road here, and they can use that for the plastic, which is quite nice. And then again, just connect that. So what will happen is we'll get our guy here, and then the carriers will move everything to the stockpile. So if we can construct that now. As you can see, there's all your colonists working as carriers, working away, building some nice little road. Okay, so that's a good start for this colony. We do want to try and get some more food and some other things on the go, but we're getting there with it. So what we're going to do is in the bottom right, we're going to click the world map, and this will bring us to the overworld. So we've got our 3 specialists that we've sent, and they're quite happy there. So we click on Kate, that's the one in the middle. She is our scientist, as you can see there, and just so happens there is a museum. Now, the museum is the science, that's where you get it from. So we're just going to right click on that, she'll run over there, and you can see the top right, science points. We've accumulated some of them. That's nice. Science is good because it allows us to research some things, improve our colony a little bit. Now, once we've picked that up, that's now ours immediately. For other things, such as we've got plastic over there, and we've got some meat over there, what you can do is we'll send him off to the meat. So we can see that he's moved over to pick up the meat. He's actually picked it all up, which is nice. For us to get the meat, what we'll need to do is we'll need to click him in his next turn and send him back to the colony, and then he'll drop off the meat. But as I say, science is the one thing you get immediately, so it's quite nice. We'll send him off to the plastic as well, so he'll pick up a little bit of plastic for us, and that will end it. Now we'll have a look. Next thing you want to do is get that research quickly, go into the tech tree. So this is the different techs that you can get. You use your science points to research them, and then they'll take amount of science points and time. And there's your production there, so that's quite nice. There's your colony, and there's your exploration. So they'll give you quite a lot of different things. First thing I would recommend is I would probably try and get a little bit of food on the go. So I would go survival skills, production plus 20%. If you actually roll over your mouse there, you can see affected buildings, fishing hut, and trapper. It'll take 15 hours and cost 50 research. So we'll hit that, that'll be good. And that's the start of that one. I recommend trying to get the food first. There's a lot of nice little tech out there, but you really need the food quickly. Other thing that's quite good, we've got a lot of carriers standing about, so they're just kind of doing their own thing. They're having a little snooze, as you can see. She's so sleepy. Our little specialist moving, getting some berries. These buildings, you can see they've got a little spade above them. If you click on them, you can move the work area. So these will use carriers. As you've got in this 6 just now, you can put them over it. So he'll collect all these planks in the same way your specialists do, and a bit of concrete. So if a carrier isn't doing anything, they'll work on that and move that. Similarly, if we hit the food storage here, we can move it over to some berries, and they'll just collect loose berries, as our specialist is doing there. So he's quite happy, he's working quite normally. That's cool. I think we're moving forward with that one. As I say, we're also researching survival skills, and here we're on that. If you can see in the bottom right, we've got a little green bar that goes round, and that's your turns. So we'll just speed up a little bit. They'll zoom about. Hopefully they'll actually build that. And they'll work on that. And that's a little shelter that's done. So they're working away, collecting some resources. So you don't want to overexpand, you don't want too much just now at the beginning. And you don't really want to build any more of these buildings just now anyway. I'll show you in just a little minute what we'll do. So this is important, I've actually left my Twitch on. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of catastrophe. Now these will occur certain intervals through the game. Heat wave will mean that you'll lose some crops, and your water, which is your production, will go into negative, so it'll be double. Otherwise, meteor shower will totally destroy everything. Setting fires, nuclear fallout, make everyone sick, in which case they have to go to a medical tent, which not actually built yet. And pandemic do similar. Magnetic storm doesn't really affect us. It affects more if you have, say for instance, lots of power buildings. So if you ever see this, what you want to do with that one is, if you want to vote, you just hit maybe number 5 for magnetic storm in the chat channel, and you can see there it'll move it to 100. So whatever one gets the most votes, that will be taken care of. So we've got a little bit of time until that comes in. We can do a little bit of preparation depending on what it's going to be. It'll give you 2 days. You can upgrade that in the future. So we've got a specialist here, and we're just going to get him to get more berries. We want to get as much food as we can. Food doesn't expire. You may as well grab as much. As you can see, our upgrade is completed, so now our trappers are even better. So trappers will get us some nice food. Now you can see here we've got our work slots, and again we can see what it's going to influence. Oops, sorry, line cooks. Yeah, so it's going to increase its trapper, and then big game hunter is also going to increase the trapper. That says work slots 1, so we really kind of want that. This is an ideology tech, so that's the ideology we picked at the start. This will influence what you actually get to pick. So we've actually got two we can do and give him more work slots. So we're going to research that. That's quite a good one. And what we're going to do is we're going to make another trapper. Now there's not many places that we can put this trapper down, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a specialist, and we're just going to make him scout out. So that will get rid of all this fog here. We're just going to speed it up. Now, the purple is the pollution. We don't want our stuff anywhere near that. You can't really do much against it at the start of the game, but once you move forward a bit and you've got a bit more tech, you can do something. So we probably want a nice trapper maybe there. That's only 50%. 64. There we go. So here all our carriers will start making that. And we're going to have a guy explore a little bit more as well. So these are mice. What you can do is you can have your specialist shoot them. Mice are quite passive, they won't attack. Well, sometimes they do. And they'll kill them. Yeah, there we go. So you can tell them to go and grab that. Similarly, you can have your food storage. And we're going to actually move food storage over to here. And he'll collect all, our carriers will collect all the rat carcasses along with the berries that are in the green. And he's going to do that as well. Oh, back to our overworld. You can see, you can grab it now. These are obscured by the fog of war. So what you can do is you can right click it, the specials run over, and next turn he's going to do that. So you can see here there's a number in that, that's how many turns it will take for them to actually reach that. So we're just going to right click that there, and he's got 4 spaces left. As we can see, the main thing that you want to be looking for is you want to get that research and to go as quick as possible. You can start teching up and start getting food in a bit more, especially at the start of the game. When you do have inefficient food, you will struggle. So we'll right click in there, you run over there, you can see scavenge time 3 turns, which is that number there, and some of the hazards have a potential of actually damaging your individual there, but that's fine, it's worth the risk, and we're just going to explore, see what we can get out here. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a bandit camp. What you can do is you can have your specialists attack it. When they attack it, they will either have goods in there, so we can see here in the bottom right, he's got 77 wood, so we kill him, we can take that afterwards. A lot of the other ones, if it's got like a big red, the area is covered in red, so all this would be in red. You can kill him and then you can search through things like this, so other size. So we're going to get him to get some plastic. If you click on that, you can see what they're carrying. So he's got 26 food. In order for us to get that, he has to come back to the campsite. So that's absolutely fine. We're sorted with that one. And we're working on big game hunting. So alright, that's another trapper up and going. That's good. Now, if you ever do want to stop any of your individuals from working there, what you can do is you can just right click it and then left click on the portrait, and that will stop anyone from working there. Now that's really important because sometimes events will happen in which you want to have more people in maybe a medical tent. Then during the good times you don't really want that, so we'll add them back on. So that's our first research, or second research done. As we can see, work slots as +2. That's good for us. Now what that work slots mean is, for this building we've now got an additional person that we can send to it, so we can have 2 in each of these. What we're going to do is we're going to send him there, and for him we're going to send him there. Now that's important because we only had to build one building. All these other things you can also upgrade to have the same kind of situation. Other things which is important, the game doesn't tell you a lot about this, is the tool shop. So you can see up here in the top right we've got tools. Now if you run out of tools, your guys become very, very inefficient at doing certain jobs. It's something like half efficiency. So you can get into the trap where actually you've got lots of people working on food, you've got lots of food production, and you're just inefficient to actually control your colony. So what we're going to do is we're making a nice tool shop there, and we're going to build him there. And then after that, because we've not got a great amount of colonists, he should be working, but he's not. Go produce some planks. We like planks. Now we can see here that this has used all the deposits in there for the stockpile. So we're just going to move up, grab those planks, and our carriers, when they're not doing anything, will run. So that's a big chunk of pollution there. And now this is something that's unique to the new update, is the quest system. So if we click on that, you can vote for these on Twitch in the same way that we've discussed previously. You need to set that up in the options. So rumours done the rounds about local bandit lord who's gathered quite the horde during the time of turmoil. She and her gang have taken up residency in a nearby high-rise building, fortifying the lower floors. A crafty person might get through and relieves the low-life some of their ill-gotten gains. So we can either go to the high-rise or abandon this quest and look for, eventually no one will come. So these are quite good to do. I recommend doing them. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually send our specialist to this map. So he'll stop what he's doing, ditch that planks, and move to the overworld. So we're going to click on the overworld. As you see, everyone's rejuvenated their move markers. That's absolutely brilliant. And what we're going to do is we're going to move him to there. He doesn't quite get there, but he will move on the next turn. So that's the quest. You just move him in there. And we're going to tell him to move and grab that food. So he'll grab that food. As we say, the damage, he's taking a little bit of damage, that's fine. All we do is to get them to recuperate, we just send them back to the colony, and they'll do that over a long time. So we're going to keep exploring. These guys are very important, at least at the start of the game. And we can see there's some more food. Say food, medical items, and if you need some maybe plastic, that's the main things. And you always want to make sure that you're researching. You want to get enough research that you can keep researching all the time. It is crucial, especially if you do get a larger colony. So he's away grabbing that. That's us done. And we're back to the colony. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to move that over there, and then they can get rid of all these trees here. So the colony is looking okay. We've got enough water, we've got enough food, we're fine with that. If we click on one of your food productions, you can see here they're producing 20 a day food and 8 a day of fibre. Now fibre is used for making clothes. It's important, but not as much as you would think. You can see here we've got clothes. We've got enough clothes for all our guys, and we've got a stockpile of 15. Similar with the tools. So he's going to start making basic tools. What we want to do is we want to move him on to the better tools, so you can see that. So produce that, and he'll produce it with the metal continuously. As you can see here, we've got basic tools, we have more durable tools. If you don't have any tools, you want to produce the basic ones because they're a lot quicker to produce, but the fancier ones are nice. You don't have to deal with them as much. So that's us finished that. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to grab basic farming. That's very important. Grab that. Some research. So as you can see, we've now got even more slots for the trappers. Trappers are actually quite good. They'll give us meat, which we need, and we're going to try and work down the farming tree. Farming tree is important. That gives us some veg, meat, veg, and that means that your colonists won't become malnutritioned and they actually come quite happy. Okay, so this is our first disaster. So it's the magnetic storm. So energy production shuts down. That's not good for a lot of developed colonies, but actually doesn't matter for us. We don't have any electricity. Any buildings are producing or consuming electricity energy might be damaged, doesn't matter for us. And the way to get around it is you build the battery packs, which then will store it in the same way the water does, and then that'll produce it. So you also get the lightning strikes. I don't know too much about the lightning strikes, if I'm honest. It can be a bit of a disaster. It will totally ruin your game, but I don't think it actually strikes things like tents. Seems to be typically more production things. So we're going to see this happen in the day, and we're going to continue on. So they continue on. We're basic farming. The guys are quite happy, moving along. Colony's doing alright. Hopefully this won't throw us. And we're going to go back to the overworld. So we can see he's got some movement straight in there, and this is the 3 choices that you get. So again, you can vote on this, but we're just going to go, you can choose one of these. Now we're going to go whatever you feel like. Rappel up the wall. Now these are certain things, so if you have a scout, you'll get an auto option that you can do. Certain things have maybe a fighter or a scientist that you can speak to people. You might get some different things. So we're just going to grab the coins next to us. As we can see there, grab the coins, 400. Now these currency, it's currency and they're used for trading. You can't do anything with them apart from trading, but once you get the trading going, it can be really useful. Let's see here, it's got a little bit of time here as well. So we can tell the scavenger to go on to try and get the research. That's fine. It will just take longer to do it. It won't cause anything else for him. So we're just going to grab him and tell him to do that. And we're going to continue on with the colony. You see here we're in a pretty good shape. Okay, so sometimes events can take place. And again, if you have Twitch, you can have your viewers filming this. So it's a young woman, and she wants to talk to some gal in my dreams and propose to her. So that's absolutely cool. How is it they do it? So you've got the 3 options here: wildflowers, wild boar, or toenails. We're just going to go wild boar. And she's quite chuffed. She's away, and we've seen a bit if it was successful, and maybe it was a bad idea. I think the crown of toenails might have been a bit disgusting, but there you go. I'll just speed up, and you can save. So we'll just save it here. So we've got it all sorted. So I would just probably speed it up a lot of time. A lot of time you're waiting. There's nothing else we can really do. We don't have a lot of carriers. We don't have a lot of people to actually work on, so they'll just collect some materials and work away. As you can see, they're using the paths. That will speed them up quite a lot, and it costs nothing to produce other than the time in which you take to produce it. You can see here 63% efficiency and 69. We can, if we add some more people, add some more people to that. That will increase the efficiency even more. We don't want to do that. We don't have enough people, and that's good. That's our basic farming researched, so that's brilliant. Next, what we want to do is we want to continue on with with the colony tab, and we want to research those nurses. So what we want to build, and we probably should have done it a little bit sooner than this, as you go here to your health benefits, medical tent, and you build a nice little medical tent. The other thing we want to do is we want to actually have a burial tent. Now this will produce pollution, so if you see here is pollution, it can spread to different buildings and then it reduces their efficiency. Eventually means that they don't work at all, people can get sick, and that's not great for that. So what we're doing is we're going to make a nice little dirt road up here to the burial pit. They'll continue making that. So what will happen is if we had any colonists die, and your colonists will die, as you can see here, if they become elders, they'll die eventually. And then the burial pit man will run his little tukas down, pick them up, stick them in there, and we won't have to deal with them. If you don't do that, then you'll get things like disease and unhappiness. So they want to have any little babies produce, and they become a bit more inefficient overall. So they'll produce that, they'll construct that, that's cool. We've got enough stuff to do it. Another thing we want to do is we want to go here and we want to build a couple of outhouses. Now, this will produce pollution, so you want to have it as far away as reasonable. You don't want to make them run for poop after all. But that will produce pollution, which can spread to other buildings, and will actually make people sick as well. So we made a couple of them. Outhouses don't take any people, so if we look at I've lost my little water wells, they've disappeared, probably hiding from me. They don't require any people, so they'll just construct themselves. After they're constructed, be happy. The burial pit does take one person, which we're kind of struggling a little bit. That's the catastrophe started, guys. See how this affects us. You can see here they've got quite unhappy, fear of death, so it's not great. We'll just speed up a little bit. Doesn't look as if we're going to be affected by this. Oh, there was a lightning strike. Oh, there's another one. That's not great. That could kill us. Oops, could set our tents on fire. Did I get hit? No, I think we're alright. Hopefully we won't have any people running about playing golf or anything like that. It's getting close though. It's getting very close. And that will continue on for about a day or so. Now, as we see, this is their hygiene. They are not very happy about that. See, they're dirty, hygiene is low, and they become infectious eventually. So, they'll produce a bit of basic hygiene. So that's quite cool. Oh, we've got another group of survivors at the gate, so we'll just click on them. They're bringing a little bit, food, water, some food in, some kids, and we've got another person. So we're just going to accept them. Okay. Oh my god, that was a close one. And they'll continue on like that. So we've got 3 more guys now, so that'll be cool. We'll just explore it. Let's go back to the overworld, see where our specialists are on the go. So we've got some movement here. We're going to have him just run up there, just grab that. He's a fighter, not a scavenger, so he takes a little bit longer. Here's a scout, so he's got a lot of movement speed. And this is cool, we've actually found our first town, so they'll be the ones that take the currency, which is brilliant. We're going to get him to grab some of that food. You always want to be grabbing the food. We're actually running out of water now, but we've got a big storage of it, so it's not a major thing just now. We are going to have to take care of that though. And we'll scout out. Grab some more food. And he's already grabbed that. Now he's a scavenger. We could probably make him kill that thing. So you see, he's ran up, took a pot shot at it, and that's done a bit of damage to him and a bit to the bandit there. So you've got the fist, that's the amount of damage that they'll do, and they've got the health. See, he's got 2 movement left, so what we can do is we can right click on him again, tell him to attack again, that takes 1 movement, and that's him killed him. So he's kicked his ass, and now we can tell him to run in there, start collecting that wood for us, so that'll be useful. We're not in any desperate need for the wood, we're not expanded too much. We do want it eventually, you always need it. And it's better off collecting it before you need it, trust me. And our research is done there, so we've got 2 medical slots. Now what we want to do is, there's a couple of tarps here for, that would increase our tents and emergency shelters. We don't want to bother with that. We've already had emergency shelters, get rid of them. We're going to go straight for communal living, so we can make shanties and tenements, and we'll research that. We get 5 colonists that are homeless. That's not very good. That's right, we need some water. So what we'll do is get some water. You can get a water collector, so it gives you 14. Oh, that doesn't sound good. But it does mean that there's an individual that needs to go there, and it has to be built on the shore. And there's a water well. Doesn't take anything. 100% efficiency. Doesn't cost the earth, but after it's built, it'll just continue going. So they'll continue on with that one. And we want to get a specialist to actually do something. That's something I'm quite guilty of. I'll let them slack off. They should be out gathering berries, bits of wood, anything we can really get. I don't think we've had any strikes on people or any of our buildings, which is quite nice. Now, this is quite interesting and important from a gameplay perspective. So we've collected all the overground stuff. So as you can see there, plastic trash, 1472. Specialists can't gather it. After that, it's all depleted. What you're left with is underground. So, for instance, this is, oh, that was a close one. Underground ruins, concrete. What we need to do is we need to get power, and we need to get diggers. So that can be quite far down the tech tree. It takes a lot of specialist things. The thing with that is we'll need to do it at some point, but we want to bear in mind that actually we could run out of resources. And as you can see here, he's got nothing to gather for the stockpile. You can just move it about. See, there's a nice green, and any specialist will just run about and grab it. I'll go back to it. Overworld, you want to be getting them to get as much stuff as you can possibly get. If you run out of food, this can be a godsend, because they can come back with some food. So, we'll move that. That's cool. We'll speed this up a little bit. Not got a lot of colonists doing a lot of things. Berries depleted. So we'll just keep telling them, get the berries, get the berries. She may as well do something that's quite useful. Now, I don't usually send all my specialists out for a long period of time, because the specialists are quite good at fighting people. So if there's maybe a boar attack, anything like that, or if, God forbid, raiders like to break through the gate, it can be quite useful. So let's just finish that. Now, we can try and move forward, try and take up. What I like to do is, tenements are very good, very efficient, and they seem to quite like them. So I actually like to try and tech them up a bit more. So you can see there you've got that for the tech, so you get more durability, more happiness, and even more happiness from moving in that. So I like to try and get them there. A little bit of research to play about with. This catastrophe should be over shortly, I believe. Now, this is important. It produces metal, which we use for making things, but also junk. Junk's used for a couple of different things, but it's used for making guns, some other bits and bobs. You do use it. All this stuff can be traded for other things once you get it. As getting that money. The only thing it can is science points, actually. Colonists want to talk. So this is just an event that you get within the actual colony. So you can give them some stuff to go landfill, see how it goes. So it didn't go too well. We basically gave them two clothings, and they came back with 2 clothings and an infection. So we've got here, we've got a guy, medical tent, so we've got an infected person here. Oh my god, it's a small child. This isn't a small child. And that's a catastrophe over. So he'll run to the medical tent, get healed up, use a little bit of medicine. So we've got iodine pills and medicine. Medicines if they may be sick, iodine pills are if they maybe get radiation, which are very useful, and we really need to try and collect them from the overworld. You can't produce them. You can trade for them, but you can't produce them, so we need to continue on with that. And we'll go back to the overworld, see where we can go. Cockroaches, you can eat insects in this game. Later on you can actually produce them. They're quite a nice little source of meat as well. So it's kind of worthwhile doing it. It's steady meat as well. We're going to get him to just run and get some more research. That's cool. Back to the colony. See there, we've got a nice little bit of food. Water's still positive. As I say, you don't need a lot of water coming in. As long as you're storing it, you can see our storage is going up. Now we'll just continue on till it's full. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and get them to kill this little deer. Oh god, they're swarming them! They're swarming them! This wasn't part of the plan! Have we got a sniper in the grassy knoll that's taking out these deer? No, I got it. That was a close one. That was a bit stupid on my part, but we got some nice deer. So what we can do is we can have our nice little food storage there. It's getting berries just now. Berries are good, but we want some meat on the bones. So we'll just plop them up there. You'll collect those berries, and I'll collect some nice little venison as well. And we finished that research, so that's good. We want to continue researching this. Now, what we want to do is we want to actually demolish these emergency shelters. You're better off going emergency shelters and then going straight for tenements. Don't bother with tents. Take a lot of space up, and they don't really give you a lot. So that's destroyed. Everyone's pissed off because they don't have any houses. But it's alright, guys. We'll make it better for them. Some nice little tenements. We'll plop them down there. And you hit R to rotate. It says here you can also hold shift to bomb multiple. Not really done that, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it, guys. Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. And we can see here when they're building tenements, they hold 8 people, so that's 8, 16, that's 32 people. We've got only 23, so that'll give them a little bit of space. doesn't do it, they're quite happy. If they've got 8 in a tenement, or they've got 1 in a tenement, they don't care. Don't give a fuck, basically. And we're just going to make her actually go and grab some more berries. Grab that one. And you can see here, if we click on it, this is what we're missing. So we've got planks, we've got loads of planks. That'll probably go 2 tenements, some metal, and some concrete. Kind of missing out on metal and concrete at the moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the work area a bit over there. And again, paths are your friend in this game. So we'll just move a nice little path there. You can see here, this is a big difference. Oh, I'm so bored, and then boom. Oh. Nice little speed boost for that one. Cost nothing. Boom. Get some guys over there. Get a little bit of metal coming in. But it's not really going as well as I would have thought, guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you in a bit after we've researched it. We've got a bit of research left. We've got our guys out here exploring, grabbing us food, metal, plastics. You can see he's got plastic and wood. And he's just running about. You can grab some tools. Tools are good. Tools are good. And then you can grab some research. You want to grab as much stuff. There's not many things that aren't useful. There's things that are useful later on in the game, but everything's got a purpose. It's whether you're actually needing it just now, whether it's worth diverting attention. But see, we're using all this metal though. So what he's waiting for the metal. What I'm going to do is, because we've got a lot of tools, we've got 13 there, is we're going to click on his portrait, and nobody's going to be there to produce any more tools. We can always put them back on, so click him back, and he'll come back, but we're going to get rid of him just now. A lot of this game is about managing your colonists. If you're producing something, so he was taking metal to produce tools, it means we're not producing metal to produce these tenements. Now, important thing is, for this, it's quite a useful tip, you can change it to be a high priority. So if they're constructing it, they will treat this one as a priority. If they've only got a little bit of metal, wood or anything like that, it'll go straight to there, and then it'll get distributed after that to the other ones. So we'll do that, and then that'll mean you'll get the best as it is. Just speed up a little bit. Got enough food, we've got enough water. We're not in a bad position, guys. Not at all. The only thing is we are running in that metal. And there is a new event. So you always want to do these events. They are quite useful. They do give you quite a lot of things. I've not really found any that have failed. I don't know if you can. So we're going to search for the convoy. There are different stories. Different stories give you different things. They do seem to repeat quite a lot. Depending on what your ideology is, I believe it gives you different quests as well. So for instance, I've never actually had that where they're going to look in the dumpsters. So that's that done. Straight on, after that we're going to go to production, and we're going to choose crowbars. Because this is the point where we're actually kind of struggling for materials. So an extra of 20% really helps us out. And we're going to grab that. Keep checking that overworld. Keep making sure your specialists are doing things. And Kate's going to go on up and do him in next time. Grab that. That's nice. And that's his back. We can go over here and we can see we've got lots of berries and lots of venison. That's meat and your veg there. quite happy with that. We're having a bit of a problem with radiation sickness. There's a couple of ones there. So we're going to actually move one of our guys in there. Just to give it a bit of extra healing. That'll just increase how quickly they can get through them. As you can see, there's occupancy, which is the number of people that are actually in the building. That doesn't increase with more people, but it does mean that they're a bit faster. So we've finished the crowbars, 25% extra. That's Bill. And the reason why we don't actually want to build too many more buildings, especially like scavenger buildings, so your scrapper recycler, so we're going to research this. Gives us another work slot. So essentially it's like having two of this building. Produces the same as having two of them, but we only have to pay for one, so you don't want to go too mad with it. If you need them later on, you can do that, that's cool, but at the moment we're just going to go straight for that. Produces some metal, some lovely metal. Now you can see they're all pissed off because they don't have any houses. Probably shouldn't have demolished all of the emergency things before getting rid of the houses, but live and learn, I suppose. It's one of these things. You can do it better. You can always do it better. I'm just giving you a couple of little hints and tips. Yeah, there's a lot of them are radiated. So that's another byproduct of living outside without any shelter. And scavenger teams is gone, so we can plop another guy in there. Metal is the only thing we seem to be missing from a lot of them, so we'll just continue on for that. And we can start researching something else, so we can have another production for metal. Is that really good? Yeah, we do really need a lot of metal, especially at the start. Well, we could use some more colonists. They'll get there eventually. They'll get there eventually. We'll start coming, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you straight to the overworld and boom, straight, there she is. Going to make her attack. Oh, she got a critical hit, look at that, just dropped like a sack of poop. So she's produced some coins there for killing him, which is nice. A little bit of food there as well. Now, what we want to do is we want to send her straight over there to that. And then it'll pop up, ask us what we want to do. So we've got a couple of options. Repair the vehicle for a price, repair the vehicle for free, attack the convoy. Okay, I've not actually come across this one yet. It seems to be more of a scavenger one. So we'll just do it for free. That's cool. Do it for whatever. That's gave us 20 first aid, 50 food, which is a nice little bonus, and 20 happiness. Now, there's a lot of options that will give you a lot more stuff. So I came across people, it was do we loot the dead bodies? If you do it, you get a lot of stuff, but you also lose a little bit of happiness. It's just up to you in the situation. Happiness, I've found, isn't really that much of an issue. I kind of struggle to get it up higher at the best of times. So we'll just continue on with that. We've got one guy. And now, this is a bit of a problem, and this is contamination. So, outhouses will produce pollution. Being next to pollution will also pollute these things. So what you do is you would click it and then you'd hit decontaminate and decontaminate, and he'll run and do that. If you've got specialists, after you've hit decontaminate, you can get one of your guys to run over your specialist to right click it with the hammer and then it'll repair it. Now this is why you need lots of colonists that are carriers. Because if you don't, then if you are producing a building, there will not be anyone to carry materials to it or actually construct it. You can have your specialists construct it if they're kicking about, and they will actually go grab the materials as well. So that's been researched, that's nice. And what we want to do is, I want to actually, this is born, is actually research as bartering. Now what that will do is, after we built the bartering station, allow us to trade with other people, other colonies that we've met. So Lushton, what was Lushton? That's right, Lushton did. We can trade with them, and if we meet any other guys, we can trade with them as well, which is good because they can give us materials and whatever. Once we get that sorted, I'll show you. It's quite nice. It's well worth trying to get fairly quick in the game, especially because you get lots of currency. It doesn't do anything for yourself. There's nothing else you can do with the currency really. There's certain events that will maybe say give them some money, or the like, but you can't really spend it outside of that unless you do the trading. Oh, and he was nearly dead, and I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just going to make him grab that, and then we're going to return him to the colony in his next turn. So he'll run back home, he'll drop off a nice little tasty cockroaches to eat, a couple of tools, and that is firewood. We don't need firewood just now because we don't have a cookhouse. Cookhouse, what it does is it produces meals from raw ingredients, so like the food, and it's more efficient. So we're only trying to get there at some point, but you do need a little bit of infrastructure to get there. You need to get firewood. So we're fine with that. We're producing some nice little houses. We're getting some stuff in. Put it at the gate. Okay, so it's another event. So there's a creepy old man at the start. Creepy man outside. Either we let him in or we don't, so it's up to you. We're going to let him in, and he grabs some food and he gets to hell with the food, so everyone's a bit annoyed about that. Sometimes he just joins as your colony as a normal colonist as well. It's a bit random, but that's the two options there. I thought it was worth it trying to maybe get another colonist. You can see there we're getting lots of radiated people. They're sleeping outside. Now we're getting irradiated. And that's the stockpile, so we're going to just move that. It's not really going to give us much just now because we don't have a lot of carriers that work it. It is what it is. Let's see there, we can now get motorcyclists as well. What we're going to do actually is we're going to reduce the number of people in there. Uses that, just click it, and then we'll have one in there. It gives you a bit of adaptability as well. If we need more people wanting the food, we can just add them back in, and that gives you immediately as well. So that's bartering completed. That's nice. What is it we need next, guys? What do you reckon? I would actually just research his support. I say we're going to get these tenements. That will do us for a good portion of the game, to be honest, before we upgrade them again. So we want to try and make them as good as possible. We can click in the building and see what they're waiting for. Still waiting for some metal. Where's a metal guy? They're just working away normally. That's cool. We can go back to overworld, see what these guys are doing. I swear to God, he says, I love you. Which I mean, I love him too. And we can attack that. expand it there, see what we can get from him. Oh, she took him out. Critical. So a little bit of metal there. That's quite good. We do need lots of metal, and you always need metal. That's a nice wood. Now this is important. This is up here. You can see it's a component. Once you get electricity, and you will get electricity in this game, you need it for making things and producing the items. Oh, making electrical producing items and batteries and things. So we want to collect it just so when we do research it, we'll be ready to go. And we can vote for the next catastrophe. Again, I'm just going to do a 5. It's a cheeky little way, but actually I just skipped that vote, so it could be random. We're better off having it random. We can see how to adapt to it. We really need to try and get these done quick, so that they'll be ready if a catastrophe does happen, which they always happen. They don't stop. Then they're less likely to die. So that's that done. So now we've got a nice little tenements all upgraded. That's cool. Some nice stuff in this little tree. It's not really that useful after that. Just now, what we'll do is we're just going to go. We're going to. God, we're out of research again, guys. We're going to actually try and research up the exploration tab. Now, frontier outposts are quite good. It means that you don't have to run back to drop off your stuff, so you can make an outpost in the world, and then they'll just run back and they can go over there, but they don't heal. It's not that useful at the start because it's quite easy running back. We get a bit later on. Motorization, vehicle repairing, it's okay. I've not really found them to be that useful in the game. By the time I've got them all nice and sorted, I tend to. I've already got quite a lot from the actual map. It's not really that big. It seems quite big, but once you've been playing for a good while and a save, you've more or less explored it. There's a couple of games I played and totally explored the map. One thing I would say is this is very much that's weird. This is very much the game. There's nothing majorly more than this to it. Once we get the trade up, it's quite nice because you can choose some different things and get some useful items, but there's not a massive amount there. But the colony is fine. The colony is working away. This is basically your colony. Now we're just going to speed it up. Actually, what we can do now is we can maybe make another scrapper. And we'll put that on high priority, so that means it'll get all the planks, all the concrete before any of these other buildings. We are running a little bit up planks as well, but we can always research that up. So if we go production, okay, oh, we don't have that one. So for the builder, I think they've got a couple of specialist ideologies that they can do for producing some more wood. Well, what we'll do is we'll just research that capacity just now. And we've got our guy back. He'll have a nice little kip, wander about, doing whatever. Get him to grab that fibre. And we'll just get him to grab some more berries. In fact, what we'll do is, because we're so starving for wood, get him to have a little explore. See if we can maybe find some nice stuff for us. Some nice planks. There we go. Look at that. Some nice planks. Oh, we've got an event here. Okay. Silent thief. Just as an animal. Attack the thief. Okay, so we got a little bit of fish back, even though we don't actually have any fish, which is a bit weird. There you go. And back to a specialist. See what we can get. We are on the lookout for some more research. There is plenty of research in this game. I wouldn't worry if you don't have a lot at the start. You do want to continue grabbing it, so you're always researching something. Some nice bread there. And there's some nice research there as well, so that'd be good. Taking a bit of a risk here. See if we can maybe fuck them up. There we go, guys. That's fine. Grab that firewood and then we can probably send you back to the colony. So we just click return colony. You drop all that stuff off as well. So that's good. That's a bit of a bonus. As I say, unless you're desperate for something, you don't want to keep sending them forward and back to the colony. 73 left. Can we research anything just now? We could research skinning. That will give us some more fibre. Now fibre is used for making clothes. We get loads of fibre at the moment. We may as well research something. Always continue researching as it is. We can click on that, so resource, and they're just doing their own thing. So it looks as if we're doing alright actually. Still looking for more wood, but our specialists run about grabbing some stuff. We can also do is we can move that work area over there, pick up that stuff there. In fact, we'll move it here, and then we've got all three. Alright, okay, nuclear fallout. So, crops will die. We don't have any crops just now. We've got the farming research, but we've not got enough people to really work it. We get plenty of food just now, as you can see. Iodine pills, so if we look up here, iodine pills in there, we've got 4 of them. That'll get rid of them really quickly. Medical tents and outhouses. So we've got a couple of outhouses, got a medical tent, 2 people in it. It should be okay, but we could use some iodine pills. Iodine pills, as I say, you grab from the overworld map. It doesn't look as if we actually came across any yet. So that's the RNG just totally doing us there, but we'll continue on having a look. Nothing else that can go on. Usually we're drowning in iodine tablets, but there's another specialist. We'll grab those planks. And we've researched that. So we're out of research just now. There it goes. And we're nearly there with everything else. We've got 3 tenements up going. As I say, we've still got unhappy people. They're just unhappy little bunnies live in the streets. It's a cold world in the apocalypse. But that's nearly finished. So what we'll do is we'll move work area over there. Grab some more of that. And what have we got? We've got lots of concrete, lots of plastic. We don't need that, so we'll move her and we'll plop her into there, the scrap. Grab as much scrap as we can. At least at this point. See the pollution. It's okay. We can tell our Carriers to decontaminate that, that'll be fine. And it's nuclear fallout. So this could potentially be quite bad for a colony. We don't have a lot of iodine tablets. You do really need them, or you need a lot of medical tents. Now one of the... we'll see how that goes. So nice, we've got a couple of colonies. And they go, we can start continue producing plastic and things. Survivors. We'll give some more survivors. That's good. This has got a couple of specials as well. Just tell them to go grab stuff. If they're not out exploring, you want to tell them to grab stuff. It don't cost anything to tell them. Tell grab. It's just easy as that. It might be a tough one. Fighters are better at fighting these, as you could probably tell. I would keep killing the bandits. Sometimes they can drop some nice stuff. And just so you can research and grab some more stuff now. Now that's parts. Parts are useful. Not at this point in time. We don't really have a lot of stuff to do with it. If you're doing the cars, you're grabbing cars, it's kind of worth it as well. Again, don't really need them just now. Never really found that the cars make a huge big difference, especially at the start. I'll just tell him we're going over there. Go. And he's finished that plastic now. So we have to find some more plastic. A little hint is you can go here. Resources. That will show us the resource view. So there's pollution, there's some plastic there. Metal scrap. Some underground plastic, but we can't grab that yet. So we'll just move that over to there. Then we'll continue on with that. Click it again, that's off. You can see all the guys are coming irradiated. What we probably want to do is actually build a second medical tent. And if I thought of it, we would have probably done it a bit quicker. Make sure we've got enough people. A lot of this part of this game is adapting to things that happen. So we've got 2 guys in there, and we'll eventually make it another medical tent. So we want to find his sisters, find his sister. It's worth doing these quests anyway. They seem very beneficial in things that you get. So we've got another medical tent. Add another guy in. Lots of medical. Check our specialists out, how they're doing. What's he got? He's got nothing that's going to help us out. Super short term. Some iodine pills was what we really kind of needed. And you want to get that research, especially alone. It makes a massive difference. Yeah, grab that. You want to tech up because on this page for the exploration there's reinforced gates and the fortress. Bandits haven't came yet, but when they do come, and they will come, having a bigger gate gives you more health. That's okay. This is a dangerous one because you think, yeah, that's it, it's cool, we're all over the worst of it, but actually it's still very irradiated. And can lose a colony very quickly, especially if you don't adapt to it. Especially if you don't have lots of iodine tablets, which we do not. You want to try and grab them as much as you can. And we are actually out of metal. So we'll just go into our view and look through resources, plastic, pollution, berries are nice, concrete, plastic, and concrete. So we don't have a lot of that. What we're going to have to do is we're going to get our lovely specialist out here. Where has she gone? Double click on her, find her. So lots of pollution there. So berries there. I'm actually going to get rid of that. It's quite difficult seeing it. We're just going to have them scout. Oh shit, there's a boar, right? If you kill boar, especially can kill a boar. It's fucking up. That's cool. There are scary things like bears and there are sandworms. Majestic deer doesn't really care. I'm just like, okay. That was another boar, shit. It's a fighter as well. If you want to have anyone, you want to have the fighter do it. It's totally ruined it. Ruined them. There's some rats. Rats don't really attack you. If you hit L on your keyboard, you can actually change to see wild animals. But I don't actually see any, so maybe there's nothing here. Some concrete there, big concrete. What we're looking for is some metal. Oh, there's those sand mites, I don't want to fire them. And motorization is complete, so reinforced gate, upgrades are great. That gives you more work slots on it as well, which is important if you want to stage more people there. Which, if you've got lots of colonies, you may as well. Some plastic there, we're looking for metal. There's rare metals. You don't really need that till quite late in the game. When you're producing your own components. There's metal scrap there. We're going to have our specialist just ruin these bugs. Actually kill those mice as well. So he's done that then. And we're just going to move our work area over here. Grab that metal. Grab that metal as well. Now we are using through quite a lot of our food. And we want to make a move on that before we can do anything else. So what we'll do is we'll grab some fields. Fields cost nothing, absolutely nothing. And we're just going to plop them down somewhere like that. Some good efficiency going. That's fine. Probably grab 3 of them there. And what we'll do is we'll just run another little road just out of the field. We'll run it a little bit further as well. Run it towards here. That'll get the plastic. So our little plastic guys can run up a little bit quicker, and that in turn will get some a nice bonus to our production. Food storage. We just killed a lot of things over here. A lot of berries. Move that over here. Always keep decontaminating. There's a building that you can grab. It's well, we're going to start producing some tools again. Another thing we want to do is warehouse. That will just give us a little bit more storage. As you can see, our capacity is actually quite full with that one. I think it's a lot of food that we've got. Actually, a lot of fibre. And what did I forget, guys? We researched it. If we go into the little star, trade centre. Trade centres are quite useful. I plop them down here, maybe. I think we should be okay to build that. Guys, I'll just run over there. Okay, so we've got a couple of fields. Now, for them to actually start working, we have to click select next. Now, there's two crops that we've got at the moment. We've got potatoes and we've got corn. As you can see there, growth rate normal, yield low, resistance low, nutrition poor, and pollution medium. And different with the potatoes. So we've got a little bit of food. We'll probably want to start with potatoes then. If you don't have a lot of food, you don't have a stockpile made up, you want to really go for anything quick and easy, try and get your bit of reserves up. And keep checking that overworld. So grab some more research there. And RNG not found. That is legit cool. I take it that's some kind of bug. Scavenging, move on. Grab some more research there. You can tell a guy to come and help. But we always want more. Food and water, guys. That's what kills colonies. We'll just speed up a little bit. I'm just waiting. So now everyone is quite happy. No, we're having lots of infections, so we can actually probably get rid of one from each of these. Get some more carriers. And that'll just help it. That'll produce some more stuff quickly. And we can put a guy in here, and now we can start trading. So if you bottom right, societies, we found one so far, so we click on him and we hit trade, we can see what he's selling. So soybean, it's a single seed, but actually it means that we can produce soybeans of our own, a couple of sheep and some science points. So the little scales, because it's yellow, mean that they quite like to trade in that, so they'll like you a bit more if you do that. We don't really need to do that just now, we've got a little bit of science, but we do need these soybeans. So what we'll do is we'll grab that, and that will give them a little bit of money. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trade some more fibre. So we got loads of fibre, we're not producing it. Any close just now. Get that, and then that'll mean 2 days, 15 hours, we get some soy. And that's a gate being researched, and that's automatically upgraded as well. So we're going to stick another guy on that. You want a couple on that. That's that sorted. Another thing we want to do is we want to start producing some clothes. We've got a little bit of a surplus, but you want to continue just making it as easy as possible. Where are you? There we go, tailor. So he'll start using the fibre to make clothes. We can sell the clothes, or we can have them given to the guys. There's a sea there. Stops hypothermia and radiation, so it's worth doing. And we're going to tell our guys to actually do something, because they're being lazy little sausages. Grab some berries. Berries are done. Tell them to go grab some other bits. Some concrete. There's some concrete there. Now, do we have enough for the food? We have 130. Could probably have a feast of meat, so they're quite happy with that. Continuing this quest as well. Grab what you can. Some more research. We want to try and get electricity going. But we also want the better farms. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go wind power. Wind power and solar's okay. So now we can do is just plant some more potatoes. Look at the bodies as well. So as you can see there, got a couple of guns out there. Guns are useful for defense. And we do need them eventually. They're a little bit pissed off because I just need to stole stuff. That's the name of the game, survival. Yeah? That's what you need to do. So we're just researching away, collecting lots of materials. Don't want to expand too much, that's the trap I fell into many a time. Expand too much, run out of food. So now we've got some wind power, that's good. We also need this storage. We're just going to continue on, what we want to get is this power saw. And eventually, we want to go down to industrial mining. In which case we can continue collecting resources by digging them out of the ground. And that is it's not an option, you have to go for it, otherwise you will just run out. I've got another disaster on the go. But we've got loads of stuff. We've done a nice little statue. That'd be nice. Put little bushes down. Just make it a bit more livable. This does cost anything. this just costs things, but it doesn't really do anything. So apart from make the settlement a little bit nicer. That's just got energy storage and sawmills. Next thing. Now it's a bit strange because you can research that, and we don't actually have anything that will use the power. So it's not worth building it just now. And there's another event. Public colonists. We're running a little bit low on the food, guys. So I want to try and remedy that as soon as possible, and also keep decontaminating these buildings. Maybe put some more guys in now. It does give you that adaptability that you really need. Stockpile's full. I'll just make another stockpile. Just that there. Soon we'll get the power source. That was a heat wave, so that's going to double consumption to 54, I think it is. It's a bit late for me. 52, and it's fine because we've got enough storage. We should probably actually, before the heat wave strikes, what we're going to do is we're going to build some clean water storage there. Just so we've got enough to get us through. Got lots of materials just now, so it's not a problem. And we can start. Let's just research that. That's brilliant. Look at that. We want to just get straight to that as soon as we can. We also probably want to get large fields at some point as well. They produce 4 times the food but use 3 more people, so it's worth doing as well. So we're just going to keep collecting little berries. Tide is over. Some planks then. I don't see any more berries, there must be about. And these resources about them, oh, some berries there. There you go, cool. These resources about the map, they don't respawn. So you have to try and balance them as much as possible. Go back to the overworld. We do have lots of guys that have been exploring. Got lots of basic pieces. Some of them have some food as well, so it's not so much of a disaster. So if you look at that, he's got quite a lot of food. Okay, the tide is over. probably fight that one actually. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. So what we can do now is we can start looking at electricity. So what we do is we want to produce a wind turbine. And where do we want it? We want it kind of, I would say probably about here. We want to eventually move that metal, so we may as well start electricity here. So that will just start generating wind power. So as you see, we need the parts and components. That's what we're collecting from the map. Another thing we need is a nice little battery pack. Now that in the same way as the water will store battery power, so especially if you went for solar power, doesn't obviously work during the night. That'll keep you tracking until the next day. Transformers will distribute power within this area. So anything within this area will get power. We want to put it here to ensure that when we do move on to try and extract this metal, we don't have to build another one of these. And then the final thing that we can actually produce now and make is this sawmill. So we're just going to plop it there, and that means that once that's all done, we can run it and we can get rid of these logs because we don't need them anymore. Stockpile. Let's see what you could do. Tell our little colonists to grab some logs up there, might be quite nice. There's a nice ruined house there. So they're working that just now. I don't think we have enough components to build all of this. That's something you just need to explore and grab it from the overworld. That's why you always want to try and grab as much as you can when you can. Let's grab that, that's cool. Food. She's got some electric components you can see there. And there's New Haven as well. So I'll send you to grab that research, that'd be nice. And then we might actually send you home with those components so we can use it. Food. Eventually these will come in, so you can see now you can harvest them now if we wanted, but you wouldn't get the full amounts that you'll get with the weight. And as we go, that water storage in the go, so probably a bit too late for it. Should have been on it a bit sooner. Fix the roof while the sun was shining, but I think we'd be okay. We've got a lot of surplus. And these storage don't cost anything other than the time it takes to build them. And we'll just continue storing. Group of survivors. Of course I'll take survivors. Oh no, it's a trap! There you go guys, that's a life lesson for you. Sometimes you'll let them in, some of them will be aggressive, sometimes it'll be a trap. Like that was a trap. Our specialist ran out, machine gun down, which is cool. Oh, she's cool, man. Oh, and I'm a fool because I forgot to harvest them before the heat wave came in, so now they're all totally ruined. They are totally ruined, and I've lost all the food I was going to get for them. As I say, catastrophes can go very bad very quickly. Junk recycling, that's that done. Battery stacking. Research. Oh, I didn't want to do that actually. I wanted to research the bigger fields. So you always want to have a couple of them about these specialists because they are quite good at fighting. Another bandit dead. Let's see some other pieces we can grab now. Grab those nice little sweeties there. They might be on the way of coming back. See what you can grab. You always want to explore these areas. You never know what could be in there. Especially if it's something you really need. Move her over to that. So the energy produced 14 and we're only using 10. So all that excess will go in that battery, which you can see up there. We've got storage. And then it means if there's a power cut, we can deal with that. So they'll plant. Oh, we've got another event. Follow the lead. Okay. But we did get a lot of stuff there, so that's quite nice. Give 4 per day. Now also give you 4 per day. That seems a bit strange to me. It might be actually. Does that produce the same amount? Get rid of each corners, so we'll just add another person in there. Let's do some medical work. Probably actually add another one as well. You want to get them treated as soon as possible, you don't want to get any of them killed. I think we could probably get rid of that actually now. But what we might have to do is, because we're losing a lot of trees, is get a forester on the go. And they'll just go about planting trees. We don't really want them to take in that space up. That's really going to be for our production. So that's that battery completed. We can research wind power 2. Let's see. To the highest. prime meat. Give us all of your prime meat. They're quite happy to they like that. They don't like fibre. Don't like it at all. So we'll grab that. Probably grab some antibiotics as well. We don't need them just now, but we want to have them just in case we do. And wheat seeds. Wheat seeds good. It needs a lot of infrastructure. You can't just eat wheat by itself. But if you do get it sorted, it can be quite good. I'll get rid of them. That'll give us some more cows. See if we can find any berries to eat. That's a deer. We'll just put it around it. These are out of plastic that you can obtain. See if there's any other plastic about. There's one up there. In fact, no, turn around, that was closer. And again, focus on those paths. Some metal scrap up there as well. And they're out of that as well, so we'll just send them all up there. All insects are edible. There's a new haven there. Send them back, they'll have a couple of bits of food. You can double click on them, that's all the food and things I've got there. It's giving us 10 a day, so that's quite nice. Okay, so a little bit of trade, 8 wood, some science, that seems okay for me, we've got plenty of wood. that's all good. Research. I want to eventually get to advanced farming. That should be okay just now. Just keep decontaminating them. Working away. Oh, we're just going to save it. And I think that's it for me tonight, guys. It's been quite late. I hope this has been a benefit to you. If you ever want to jump on, ask me a couple of questions. I'm not the best at this by any chance, but I hope it shed some light on things. And I think we'll be calling it a day there. As I say, thanks very much for supporting us, checking this video out. Take care.